guys how to do these. Front and rear. So the first thing you want to do, make sure you're supported by a jack and a stand. Today we're going to be getting this done here. I already did some wheel hubs on this thing recently, so I'm going to be doing a little bit more on this caliper than the rest of them. You'll see. Replacing a caliper bolt as well. I had one of them, looks like it was kind of old, and it might have had a strip point in it. So I'll go over your tools needed for this. Okay. So a T45 socket for your brake bolts there and here. This is the one that I believe it's spinning in there. So I think maybe the ends of it kind of got charred, as you can see. So I got a couple replacements I pulled from the yard. So we got our caliper off here. T45 bolts. Something I'm going to show you that in my last video I kind of canceled the video I was doing. But there's a trick to the wheel hubs on this that I wanted to show you. So it's an 18 millimeter. It can be really hard to get off. Use a breaker bar if you have to. So we're going to take these off for a second. I'm going to teach you something with this. These getting the rotor separated from the wheel hub was my most difficult challenge with doing it. I ran out of battery life while I was doing the video on it, so I had to get rid of it. So I'll probably end up doing it on another model somewhere along the line. But okay, when you do the top bracket bolt, you want to remove your brake line like this, slide it on the back seat. So make sure we can see. It's an 18 millimeter on here. I recommend that when you do your wheel hubs on these, especially if you have the ATE setup, replace your wheel hubs and your rotors together. But if you're going to reuse your rotors, okay, so let me show you something. This comes off here, okay? As you can see, I just did these. I just put them in. This face plate right here will get seized onto right here. One way to get these loose is when you take this off with the rotor and the wheel hub, because you cannot get them separated. Flip them over on the ground like this and hammer it down on the ground, or drop it on the ground up on this lip on the old one to get it to break free. So just a word of advice. I'm going to be throwing some anti-seize on this really quick. So yeah, I hope you guys are well. Been a long run here, so let me see here. I got some of this new stuff. It's kind of a product review. First time really using it, so we'll see how it goes. But on Amazon, I had found it's like $7.99. These jars of Anti-Seize made by Onarieer. So I got that, and I got caliper pin grease. I was going to do a little bit of a review on it, but yeah, it goes. You can get this in a spray material too if you want, but today I'm going to be using it for the back of the rotor, even just a little bit around the outsides of it. And it's just so these don't stick. So I'm going to be doing an Akibono swap here soon, and I want these to be able to come off the wheel hubs. I don't want any problems. So we're gonna see how this stuff holds up. I guess this is the initial product review. We'll see kind of how far it goes, but it comes with a brush. Not too bad. So slide back here. Okay, we're gonna slide this back on. Okay, so use a lug nut to hold these in place. Yeah, so these are really easy. To be honest, I don't like the standard brakes that came on these, so I'm going to be doing an Akebono swap. They're very spongy, especially when they get low. They're really spongy. You're just, you know, the Akebono, you kind of stop on a dime. With these ones, it's just, I would recommend if you have a WJ to swap them. I know you can look online, everybody's doing it. They're doing the swaps. Costs quite a bit of money. One thing I will say is you will need brackets. They don't use the same brackets. They use the same bolt up point, but the caliper bolts aren't the same. So you just need to know that when you're doing the swap. So it just is what it is. I'm gonna move you back here for a second. We're gonna do, hold you back up. I just wanted to anti-seize the back of that one. I did it with bearing grease on the other side. That's all I really had until this stuff came in. So I'm not really feeling like pulling it back up because I'm gonna be doing a swap here soon. So okay, in there. Move it down here. Okay, we're in there. Okay, so I'm going to come back up top. I was going to use caliper hangers for it, but I decided not to. I just did these, I just cleaned up and did this not too long ago, so there's fresh stuff on it. You can see there's an uneven wear on them, so I'm pretty sure that I have a warped rotor with it. So I'm going to be doing new rotors with it, the whole Akebono swap, doing that, so I'm not really messing around too much. So installation of new pad, which, by the way, a little break. If you ever buy these, they're super good. I just started picking them up from the health food store. They're freaking bomb. These are from, they were from Amazon, but I picked them up from Detroit Axle. So just be aware that Detroit Axle is a good brand. They sell it on Amazon if you're getting brake pads. It's a good idea. I'm going to be doing a junkyard video on swappable parts for the WJ. That should be an interesting one. One thing I'm actually looking at doing is sticking a newer steering wheel in it. Do the calipers. The reason I would recommend doing it on this car, and some people may disagree, some people may agree, is these pads, they like free float in here. They're really weird. So they have a tendency to drag on the rotors and cause warping and overheating. One thing I'm going to do is stick these new pads in here. So okay. Now I gotta run a C-clamp to this. I'm actually getting a new brake tool. I had a brake spreader that broke on me, so I've been using a C-clamp for the first part of this season. It's been kind of annoying, but I'm getting this brake spreader tool. I'm going to show you guys. It's kind of neat. There's another Amazon find that I found that really wasn't that bad priced. Also picked up some new brake grease. Once again, an Amazon find. I've been doing Amazon reviews, to be honest, on some of these products, just to see what they're like. Compare it to Prestone, see what I feel. I generally do it on my own vehicle before I do it on somebody else's. So something looks like it's a little bit lighter of a color. So with these don't use any brake hardware. Something y'all should know is the WJ does not use hardware, which is kind of freaking annoying, to be honest with you. That's one reason I'm going to Akebono, is because of that one reason. I just don't like it. I like to be able to have brake hardware and have kind of a normal brake setup and not... It's just weird, man. The ALE or ATE brake setup, they changed it in 2004. And they changed it because of the warping rotors, which I believe I have. I've got a shaking that's going on at about 50-60 miles an hour when I brake. So I noticed it on the freeway, taking a freeway trip the other day. We're going to stick our pad in here. Just make sure you put them in correctly. There. So you've got one side sitting in there, one side in the caliper. So your install, flip it back over, okay? These are kind of weird to install when you're messing around in here, so you just need to make sure you get your hooks up over, okay? I won't lie, I don't like this this brake design. This is one I've worked on these before and I've never really liked them. They've always been just pieces of shit. I don't really like them. When it comes to brakes, switch to Akebono, switch to an aftermarket caliper. A lot of people say you can switch 5.0 Mustang calipers and brakes on these. I've never went that in depth with it, to be honest. Really wasn't something I was interested in, but Mustang Swap, it's online. You can find people in forums that have been doing it, yada yada. I'm not really a fan of Ford parts on a Jeep. It's kind of weird to me, so. We're going to go with this top one here. Got our new caliper bolt here, so let's move it up in there. That one. I'm try and slightly thread it in there. We're threading in. Yeah, that bolt that I had was stripped on the end, so it wasn't able to really stop very well. It would just spin in there, so we've got that side. I'm gonna back this one out a little ways. Make sure I'm not cross-threading anything, but I don't think I am, so. I believe these are about 20 foot-pounds, maybe shyer than that. Let's see. Hey, how's it going, man?
All right, yourself?
Not bad. you too, man. Okay. So get these seated in place. You're gonna need to run this. I just used brake cleaner on this. That's why I didn't spray it. You'll see me do it on the backs there because I haven't touched the backs. So to install these, okay, you're gonna run one side in like this, okay. Make sure it's in. I gotta set this down here to get this done, so I don't know if I'll be able to get close too much, but you want to make sure they're in both holes and over this outside. So one thing I generally do is tap. Oh, okay. One reason I don't like these very much too, I just don't like the design, man. The design is kind of stupid, to be honest to me. So use a screwdriver in between there and pry after you get this one in there, and then pry it up over. So obviously you're going to take something and tap on the ends here. They seat in pretty good. Once they seat in, you'll notice they're rock hard, like they sit really good. So I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup on this here, but make sure where your pads slide, you put plenty of grease in there, because it doesn't use hardware. They will squeal like mad if you don't. So we've got that one in. Got some grease back there. It's kind of weird because these don't really use slide pins. They just slide in the rubber caliper. It's a really strange setup. I'm not a big fan of them. They warp rotors really quick, so something you won't be too happy about when you're doing these. I'm going to end up doing ball joints here soon. So okay, we're going to head to the back here. So we're going to do a rear one. Yeah, so any questions on that, leave them in the comments. They're really straightforward. They're just really stupid. I'm not a fan of them. I don't think I've met anybody who's liked them, to be honest. If you do, cool. I don't care. But your trick, getting the wheel hub and the rotor separated. If you're trying just to replace the rotor, or you're trying to separate it and reuse the rotor, the studs in these are in the wheel hub. So if you're replacing wheel hubs, pound these out first and then slam it on the ground straight on this lip, and it'll break that free if you don't have anti-seize on it. Either way, as you're pounding on rotors, you're going to beat the crap out of them. It's not a good idea. So remove your lug nut from here. Tire for it. Okay. Place a foot on the tire there. Okay. On one lug, on the second one here, like this. Okay. They're pretty easy to do. They're just stupid. So if you haven't done them before, you'll probably get stuck on the whole clip part, the outer retaining clip. Like I say, go get some Akibono, some Ocubono setups. It's a lot easier, a lot better. It's easier to service them. Make sure your high caliper is not touching the wheel. Here we go. Okay. Now we're gonna move to the back, okay? This back, sit you right here. Put a jack under it. Okay. What you notice about Jeep is they have really good jack points on them. Easy to reach. Really smooth to work on, they're not bad. So. Okay. Okay, so wiggle them loose. Okay. It's the same type of setup back here. You can see the ALE kind of runs the same way. So these have dust caps on them, okay? Pull these caps. Another one there. Pull a cap on it. Don't lose them. Mine are sitting out there, I'll go grab them. Same size, okay? T45 socket. Just break them loose. Oh. So here's what we're going to do. So break them loose, run them out. Okay. Those are out. Let's go a little more. And the top here. Okay. Pull on it just a little bit. Get your front right here. Grab a trim tool, okay. Reach in there. And pop that one loose. There it goes. Throw it in your parts dish. This is loose enough. We can pull them out. Okay. Alright, I set mine behind here for a second. As you can see, we're running pretty low. We'll keep them as spares on the road just in case. While we're doing this cleanup too, we're going to clean up our rotor surface because it's stuck to the wheel pretty bad. So we're going to apply some more copper anti-seize to the front of this rotor slash drum. I'm not really doing much to the e-brake here today, so but be straight up. We're gonna work on the hardware slots in here where these go in. Goes right here, in there, wherever the brake pads are touching in here. You just want to get it clean. enough. It generally depends on how old they cleaned out pretty good. Alright, so we're gonna hit it with some brake cleaner using SuperTech brake spark cleaner. But spray the whole thing down for a second. Leave that right here. Alright, let's let it sit for a bit. So, things first, let's run this quiet in here. Alright. Run it on your finger like that too. We got our brake disc quiet in there. Use the old pad to compress the back ones because they're really small. Unless you have a brake spreader tool, it works pretty good. So I'm gonna go. Okay, so I'm gonna start with our brake grease here. Okay. Some in there, some in there. Take a pinky, spread it. Okay. Make sure you get that top lip in there. Okay. Just like the front side, you're going to have that one installed, and you're going to take your outside one and set them in there, okay? So, one up top, flip it, and it goes right back in, just like that. On the outside here, okay? So, you can do this, thread both of them just a little bit here so you can get them started. Just thread them enough so you know you've got both sides going good. Stop and finish this one. Clip here, okay? You're gonna slide one side in like this, okay? One side, got somewhere to pry. There. Okay, I need to set you somewhere here, so. Okay. Okay, so one way I did this, loop here, 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 and use a pair of needle nose pliers and catch it. Tap it with a hammer or something. So they're stiff in there, they're solid, okay? So we're done with this side. So before I finish, run some anti-seize on here, okay? So it doesn't stick to the wheel again. Stuck wheel here. Something's not budging for us. There we go. That's the way I unstuck this wheel PB blaster, right behind the wheel and where the rotor touches. Face the rotor. This is why it's really important that you clean up your rotor surfaces. And you apply anti-seize. So this was completely, it's bad in here, so we're going to be running a brush and cleaning up and throwing some anti-seize on it. So just make sure you clean these up, man. If you don't change them, even if you change them, always spray anti-seize on the faces of these rotors. Enough time on them and they'll stick like mad. So right now we're just gonna get this completely done up so we can spray it. This is just busted out, so I'm gonna end up doing the rear hubs too. That's a hell of a job, I'll tell you. So when I do the rear hubs, I'll go over a lot of how I do it, but generally that's how you unstick the back of the wheel. So we're going to spray that here in a second. Well, we might as well spray a little bit of it now. top. Caliper bolts are out. This side we're a little sloppy today, but I'll wrap this out, okay? I still got this in here. One thing I'd recommend before you spray, let's just do this and get it out of the way. So. So before we do some brake cleaner spray here, we're going to kind of run over this. Yep. Spray that side. Okay, so we're going to kind of wrap. We're going to apply some just brake quiet. Let's hit this side first. So we're going to run some grease on there. Oh, that's a little too much. On there. On there. Kind of going a little heavy on this today, so forgive me. Drop our caliper back on, like so. Alright. So we got both caliper bolts in. Grease these on the outside just a little bit. If you, it's better for them if you grease them a bit. As you can see, we got our dust caps on there. But grease just a little bit of the inside of these pins. They're not like conventional brakes where you have an inside pin to pull out and grease. So I grease the inside of them, even though it's a rubber slide. I still grease them a bit. I don't have anywhere to set it, so once you have it back here, you hold it here and you use your needle nose pliers over there to get it into that hole, okay? I just use the back of the C-clamp, hammer those into place there. So as you can see, after you set these in place, they're rock hard. That's how you know you got it in. pull this one here. Cleaning our piston surface for a second. Okay. Let's rotate it. Like that. Go with this here, down, snap it in, okay. So that's it for the brake job, man. I'm running out of time, running out of camera, but that's it for y'all. Lone Wolf, peace out.